When it comes to professional wrestling, if you are talking about it, we are talking about it. Welcome to the Wrestle Chat Podcast with the Ant-Man.
Let's go. One more Wrestle Chat Podcast for 2023. Welcome to a special edition of Wrestle Chat Podcast today. These are the Chatties. Yes, that's a stupid name. We know. But that's what we're going to call it from here on out. If this goes to year number 2, we'll do a second year of the Chatties. Hopefully. Welcome to it. I'm the Ant-Man. He is Michael Glavin. We're going to jump into our awards today. We're going to give out everybody else does awards for wrestling. Why shouldn't we, dude?
That's right. I mean, we might just be the go-to place for people to say, hey, if you get a Chattie, that's mountaintop, man. So we're gonna pretend like we're the mountaintop, and whatever happens, happens.
I'm gonna be conservative and say that's a couple of years away before anybody thinks that. But I'm not sure that there's an yes, yeah. I'm not sure there's anything else we would have called it though. Could we have called it anything else? The Wrestle Chat Podcast. It'd have to be the Chatties, right?
I guess. I mean, we could have come up with some obscure Norwegian name or something. The Uskenland Awards or something like that. I don't know. I
have seen a lot of TikToks on Rammstein recently, and I don't know why. Yeah. I don't even care about that group, but I don't know why I've seen a lot. We digress. Let's get things rolling. We're going to start off with the faction of the year. And Michael, I'm going to let you start this one. Who do you have for faction of the year in the 2023 Chatties?
Okay, so it's time for some asterisks and disclaimers. I have probably 4 selections in each category. And
really?
I'm pretty much on the fly having to edge out.
You're going to narrow them down on the spot.
On the spot.
Okay.
And I'm hoping you'll take other ones. And I tried, there are people that had a great year and their award is being on TV more than others. I tried to pick people that were deserving of this award while not going with the most obvious pick, if you will. So there are my disclaimers. These are just my picks, and we'll go from there. So with that said, my pick for Faction of the Year for the 2023 Chatties is none other than Imperium.
Wow, I didn't think you were going to say that. Okay. Yeah. That's actually a great pick, but tell us why.
Here's the thing. Has Imperium had the most dominant storyline of 2023? No. Have they had the most TV time compared to other factions of 2023? No. But what they have done is executed what it looks like to be a dominant group of people with serious attitudes that are there for business. I would compare Imperium. I always go back and reference this. It seems like every other episode, but if you go back to Evolution, when they were all together, they were a serious faction that was about business. They were going to take you out. They were going to hold all the titles. They were the total package. And I feel like Imperium over time is going to be the same thing. So not only do I feel like they had a great showing in 2023, but they're also getting a preemptive award for what I believe they're about to do.
Man, great pick. Great way to start. My pick for Faction of the Year is Judgment Day. And the reason I picked these guys is because I think a lot of people are going to say Bloodline is theirs. That's going to be their whole thing for 2023. Because, arguably that was the best storyline of 2023, at least there at the beginning. But we're not talking about storyline. We're talking about actual factions. And Judgment Day looked like it was doomed before it even took off because everything that happened with Edge being ousted so soon and then having no leader at all. No one's the leader of this group. To see it not only prevail, but actually exceed most expectations has been great to see. And it came as the Bloodline story was actually kind of winding down. We saw them overlap, and it was the first time that WWE has not done this And you can't see that if you're just listening, but going up and then down with something, something's great is up and then they go down, that we don't have anything for a while and then it's back up. Mm-hmm. They overlapped them. We had something really, really good. And just as it started to come down, that's when Judgment Day started to come up, and you kind of had almost a level plane of keeping things up high. And I think that's part of the success of WWE in 2023 is having both of those so close together, overlapping at just the right time, that we've seen the success that WWE has had this year, and how it's grown. And where normally we would have a lull, we don't. We're going to move over to Tag Team of the Year. I'll start this one. I like these guys when they were in when I think they were in NXT. I liked them in WWE. They left and they're in AEW, and they have, I believe, been the longest reigning tag champs in AEW. If that's not right, we'll scratch this from the record, but I'm talking about Dax and Cash, FTR. Great wins at AEW as the tag champs over the Young Bucks, Adam Cole, MJF, and Bullet Club Gold. I love their style, and I really hope that they stay healthy and actually end up getting another run in WWE at some point before it's all said and done for Dax and Cash. So they are my pick for Tag Team of the Year in the Chatties. What about you?
Or not going to jail. You forgot that one.
Yes, and not going to jail.
Sorry, you can edit that out if you want to. For me, again, was trying to think of some people that did really good. I think this is going to be a controversial pick, and that's okay. If any of you watch the other show that I'm on, you know that I have an affinity for unconventional picks. But this year, for the 2023 Chatties Tag Team of the Year, I am going to give it to Pretty Deadly.
What? Pretty Deadly?
Pretty Deadly. And let me tell you why. Were they the most winning tag team of the year? No.
They didn't win.
Were they on TV more than others? No. Were they injury free for the year?
No.
So why would you give it to them, Michael? Well, here's the thing. They committed to the characters. They got over, which is really hard to do in tag team land. And to have these effeminate characters in this masculine wrestling world, to be wholeheartedly committed to it. Because let's remember, the Maxim male models did not get over. And if you think about it, very similar things, but Pretty Deadly came from NXT, showed up, and all of the fans instantly fell in love with them. And I believe it's because of their commitment to what they were doing. And the 5 minutes that we've seen them in the ring this year, they're good. And so because they were able to get over in tag team land, giving it to Pretty Deadly, Tag Team of the Year.
We'll go from ESPN all the way to Sean Ross Sapp, and you will not find anyone else picking Pretty Deadly for Tag Team of the Year. You're only going to get that here on the Chatties. Good, bad, indifferent. We're going to move over to favorite male wrestler of 2023. Michael, you can kick this one off. Who you got?
The struggle that was in this one.
Really? You still have them up as 4, and you're picking one right now?
I have 4 names on there, and all of them have a reason to be, the favorite male wrestler of the year. But
sure.
I am a storyline and character guy at heart. Like, I love wrestling as a sport, but for me, it's the entertainment value that keeps me coming back for more. And so rightfully so, I believe this person deserves it for not only what they've done on camera, but more so in interviews. I guess I should say in the ring, but more so on camera in interviews and stuff like that. I am giving my favorite male wrestler of 2023 Chatties to MJF.
Wow. Okay, tell me why.
The guy just knows how to talk. And there's very few people on the roster that can talk like he can. I mean, he is an Attitude Era level mic guy. And the way he can take digs at crowds, the way he can get heat, or, eating a pickle while sobbing and doing a whole bit like that. The dude
in the
is
media
just,
scrum. Yeah,
in the media scrum. Like, he just has it all together. We talk a lot about promos on the Wrestle Chat podcast, and I'm very, very particular about promos. I don't feel like a lot of people do promos really, really well anymore. There's a lot of people that are okay at it, passable, get by, get the job done. But there's very few people that are great. And all in between how long he's been at the top of his game in AEW, the storylines that he's been in this year, his ability to talk and just his character in general, the way he's broke the fourth wall about where he's going to be over the next year, even yesterday with some of the tweets that he was putting out about being injured, what you're going to hear about me, this, that, whatever. Dude has it locked in for me, 2023 Chatties.
Man, that's a great pick. Male wrestler of the year for Michael is MJF. And you know what's funny is that neither one of us picked who many think probably is, as a majority, would be Cody Rhodes. A lot of people would think that. And what is interesting here, too, is even before you said who you picked, I changed who I picked because I was like, man, I knew there was one I missed, and there's a reason. And before you said yours, I was like, I'm changing it from mine, who was MJF. And I didn't change because you said it, but I'm going with someone that's equally as strong, I believe, and was destined to go nowhere at 40, whatever he is now. And that, yes, is L.A. Knight. Yeah. I'm excited for this guy, and I like how he has not... They didn't bury him with the returns of superstars such as Randy Orton or there's a fly in here that is going to drive me crazy. That's the MJF fly. But you didn't. Randy Orton coming back. I was really afraid that LA Knight was going to get buried especially with CM Punk coming back. I'm like, oh, well, he's definitely just going to be in hindsight now. No, it's not the case. They put him right in the mix of absolutely everything, and I think that is very, very important. He was over before when those guys weren't around, and I'm excited to see where he goes working with those guys, those big superstars in the coming weeks in WWE. So my male wrestler of the year, superstar of the year, is L.A. Knight. That's going to move us over to our favorite female. I think that I may have a pick that I don't know that everybody is going to, they may leave some scratching their head. I think, I don't know who yours is yet. I know that Rhea Ripley is at the top of the list for many, but I'm picking Becky Lynch. I gave this to Becky in a big part due to her selflessness. She was, at the top of her game as the man gimmick. Pandemic, baby came, all that stuff. She walked away to start a family, came back looking better than ever. She wasn't afraid to go down to NXT and help put over younger stars. I love everything that Becky stands for in the wrestling business. So I'm giving the female award to Becky Lynch for the Chatties here today on the Wrestle Chat podcast. Who are you handing this award to this week, or this year, I guess I should say, Michael?
First of all, fantastic pick and great reasons. Great year she had. I am going to go with the obvious, and I am going to say Rhea Ripley. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. She is the textbook WWE example why you got to play the game. You got to work the system, you got to play the game, but you also have to be yourself. Sounds like a PSA for WWE. But but here's the thing. She has more charisma in her character, in her person, than 90% of the roster. I would literally put her in terms of a total package with wrestling ability, with character, with uniqueness, with star power. I would put her up there with CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, Becky Lynch, the whole thing. She is a superstar, and she has had a dominant year in the midst of a lot of high-profile male athletes let me remind you. She's on a team with Finn Balor, Damian Priest, JD McDonough. Am I forgetting somebody? Oh yeah, Dom. She's got
her boy toy.
Her boy toy. She is running with a crew of very talented people, and yet she stands out as the leader of that group. And honestly, I hope that they are positioning her to be the longest reigning women's champion of all time.
Yeah.
I hope that she hangs on to that title for not just the foreseeable future, but beyond the foreseeable future. If you really watch her, I could go on for forever. If you watch her, she is committed to her entrances. When she comes in, she has that star power. And I pop for her every single time, not for the obvious reasons, but for the actual professional reasons. But anyway, Rhea Ripley, 2023 Female Wrestler of the Year, Chatties.
Great pick with Rhea Ripley, and she does do something that a lot of women her size do not do, and that is get over with not just her looks, not just her size, not just her power, but also her charisma. And she has something that she has the it factor that they look for, and so many superstars that often they don't get, especially with strong, very masculine looking women. And she, it's weird how feminine she maintains through all the masculinity that seems to come out in her personality as well.
What you're trying to say is
great
also being scary as hell.
Yes, exactly. Very much so. Our next one is Pop of the Year. And listen, I think maybe we just count to 3 and say the same thing at the same time. Would that be good?
I'm not picking that one.
You're not picking it?
I'm not picking that one.
Oh, you're not? You know which one I'm picking.
I know which one you're picking.
You're speculating which one I'm picking.
Yep.
All right, I'll give mine since it's probably the most obvious, and that is CM Punk's return. Yep. CM Punk returning at Survivor Series. It's funny how speculation that turns into reality almost unexpectedly can yield everything this occasion brought, including the highest social views ever, beating The Rock's return. And so that's why we have to see CM Punk. Everybody thought it might happen. By the end of the show, expected to be disappointed. And we weren't. We were all shocked to see CM Punk on WWE television again. That's why I'm giving them the Pop of the Year. But in an unexpected turn, that is not yours, Michael. Who do you have?
When we talk about the Pop of the Year, anybody can do it once. I mean, if you really think about it, you can do it once. But I wanted to give this Chattie Award to someone that makes people pop every single time. And I'm going to stretch the meaning of the word just a little bit. I'm going to give it to none other than Dominic Mysterio. Every time that guy gets a microphone, that place just erupts in boos. And that guy is consistent. So, Dominic Mysterio, 2023 Chatties, Pop of the Year.
We'll let the stretch happen and stretch out that meaning for a little bit for Dom, because I think that is well deserved. You're exactly right. I think a close runner-up at the beginning of his run in that same vein was now his name is escaping me. Why does that happen every time I want to? Don Callis.
Oh yeah.
Live Don Callis got booed pretty close second to Dominic Mysterio in his run there at the beginning. All right, moving over to Match of the Year. Now, this is not our last one. We're doing these just in all different orders, and we're also not going to go over to Japan for this one either. We're going to keep it right here in the United States of America, I believe, for both of our picks. Why don't you go first on this one? Match of the Year for the 2023 Chatties, Michael.
I'll tell you what, this one was tough. We had several really, really good matches this year. Mm-hmm. It's real hard to narrow it down to one. I'm staring at my picks right now, and they're all good. I have one funny one. I'm going to do my funny one as the honorable mention. How about that?
Okay.
But I'm going to do Cody versus Brock, the rubber match at SummerSlam. That was a great series of matches. The icing on the cake was getting to experience it in person with you live from Detroit.
Yeah.
Cody versus Brock in the rubber match, there was a lot of steam from two major players in the WWE. It says a lot when you can have such a high profile match with absolutely nothing on the line. And it takes me back to, again, one of the ones that I always go back to was Triple H Undertaker 1, I think at 27, 28 maybe, WrestleMania. Undertaker's cutting a promo. Triple H music hits, come to the ring, staring him down, stares up at the WrestleMania sign, stares back at him, nod, done. Huge match with absolutely nothing on the line. And so Cody and Brock, I felt, was that. And then what we didn't expect is I feel like we got a little bit of a passing of a torch kind of thing at the end of that match as well. Not that Brock is done. He's still probably going to be around for another year or two, I imagine. But there was definitely this handoff of like, hey, I've been one of the guys for a while. You're now back. You and I went at it, and you're okay by me. And so you're one of the guys now too. And so great match overall. Nothing on the line, but just major stakes. And so my match of the year goes to Cody versus Brock, SummerSlam.
Mine includes Cody Rhodes, but I'm going Roman and Cody at WrestleMania 39. I don't know why so many people, look outside of WWE for match of the year, because I think match of the year encompasses everything. It encompasses not just the actual match, the buildup of the match, the aftermath of the match. It's everything involved. But I'm not sure much has captivated wrestling fans like the match with Roman and Cody, mainly because, many wish that Cody would go over, but the entire feud kept you guessing, and it kept you guessing all the way to the very end. You thought that Cody had a chance to the very last second when he didn't. And I think that the storytelling of that entire match, from the time they started to the time the 3 count happened, even afterwards when the feud started with Brock Lesnar, that whole story there was all part of match of the year for me. And that's why I'm giving the award to Roman and Cody at WrestleMania 39. And I'm gonna tap into first. Let's get your runner up, the funny one.
Actually,
for match of the year.
I misread my notes. That one's in the next segment.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, let's move to the next one. Favorite rivalry. I'm going with the one that you said for match of the year. I like the rivalry with Cody and Brock, because I thought there's no way, if you end this story with Roman Reigns the way you did, what other story can you tell with Cody? And boy, they showed us. Yep. They gave us actually a very interesting 3 matches with Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes, and I love that. This was a rivalry I didn't see coming at all, but I think it's one that we're actually going to look back on as being a pivotal moment in Cody Rhodes' story when it is all said and done, that because of the rivalry that happened with Cody and Brock is because it has led us here to this final finalizing Cody's story when it's all said and done. So that's why I'm giving rivalry of the year to Cody and Brock, your match of the year. So who are you going with rivalry? Let's first get your pick and then get your runner up.
So this is going to be one that people probably squint their eyes at again. This was a very narrow window of time that this rivalry was good. It had some misses in it, but when it hit hard. And I'm going to take us back to a little bit earlier in the year, and I'm going to say Chris Jericho and Adam Cole.
I like that.
There was a brief window of time that when they brought Britt Baker in, and there was a little bit of Saraya, there was several segments in there that they just nailed it. And really, really well done. the hamburger was real good, but the bun left a little to be desired. But really, really great stuff. Lots of good WWE choices. But that one just had something that stood out to me in kind of the raw nature of it.
Well, and I think that also, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but it ties to it, is that not only, I agree with you, that could be considered and is your award for rivalry of the year. It could also be up for contention for the most mishandled rivalry of the year because it had so much more potential. Yeah, the unchatty. This is in the bonus segment that you get only if you subscribe. We don't have anything you can subscribe to except our Instagram. But the thing is that they had so much meat left on the bone and it just went away. But while it was there, it was good. And I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yep. And then a close second, the runner-up for rivalry of the year was LA Knight versus the WWE Office. They didn't want him to get over, but he got over.
Yep, he got over. We're going to give you some male models to manage. You think you can get that over? Yeah. And he did. Well, not really. They didn't get over. All right, let's move over to a PLE or pay-per-view of the year, and we have to, put them both in there because I would say my pick is not WWE, so it is a traditional pay-per-view, and I'm going with AEW's Forbidden Door. I think I remember, and I looked back in our text to see if I actually wrote Match of the Year or pay-per-view of the year, and I didn't, but I remember talking to you about this because for me, it was so unsuspecting. It's off, the heels of All In and All Out. Punk was gone, so, no one knew where things were going to be going. It was a pleasant surprise, and every single match and all the matches either hit triples or home runs. And in fact, so many people will actually pick a match in there for match of the year with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. I loved the match. I didn't think it was necessarily match of the year because it was just a match out of the blue. And as I mentioned before, I think match of the year has to consider everything, or at least it does for me. So that pay-per-view, though, is just a singular pay-per-view. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I don't remember if you had a chance to watch that or not, but man, if you have a chance at any point and you want to go just dig into a pay-per-view maybe that you missed, go look up AEW's Forbidden Door. For me, it is the pay-per-view of the year for the Chatties this year. Who you got?
Again, there was several great picks. I mean, I'm not picking this, but you want to go WrestleMania because every year it's just it's next level. It's always stacked. Yeah. But I didn't want to. Yeah. Didn't want to take a cop-out pick or anything like that. But I'm going to go back to SummerSlam. It was a really, really great year. We saw a lot of the shifting or the coming to fruition over the summer of a lot of new management and things really being put in place earlier in the year. If you go back to earlier episodes of the Wrestle Chat podcast, you can hear us saying, man, I can feel the product shifting. I can feel the product shifting, and then the merger, the buyout happened, all that type of thing. But SummerSlam, I felt like, or that general time frame was around the time we really started seeing some things come to fruition. So the biggest event of the summer, WWE SummerSlam, didn't hurt that I was there either.
Yeah, exactly. And it was such a fun time in Detroit. I've never been to Detroit, and that was a cool show to go to. All right, moving over to favorite champ of the year. Our Champ of the Year award for me is going to MJF. I know I could have gone with Roman for the reign that he's had. I could have gone with Seth Rollins for the number of defenses that he's had since he became champion. But again, I was thinking this before with when I originally had him as my male wrestler of the year. MJF has carried AEW as the champ through some very turbulent times in 2023. In fact, there's a storyline that never got to play out that looked like it was going to happen between he and CM Punk with who was the real champ. That just went away, and it didn't dilute anything that MJF was doing. And it's really cool to see a guy who really is the epitome of started from the bottom. Now we're here and he's still so stinking young, and to be so good is really unfair to everybody else. So my favorite champ for 2023 and the winner of a Chattie in that category is MJF. Who are you thinking for champ of the year, bud?
Obviously, as I look through, a list of champions from this year, I first went over to AEW, and they've got some type of championship. Their championship to roster ratio is like 1-3. Like
it's pretty big.
They've got a lot of straps over there, and so I felt like that product was a little diluted. If everybody's got it, nobody's got it type of thing. So I went back over to WWE. And I was like, man, there's a lot to pick from. Obviously, there's Roman, but one champion stood out among all of them, and that was the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, Gunther. And here's the thing.
Love it.
Entertainment in wrestling is often mistaken with something fun or whimsical or silly or over the top, and that's not always it. When you watch an action movie, action movies are very rarely whimsical or fun or all those types of things. Gunther is the diehard of champions this year. Yeah. It's he's a serious character. He's committed. And then not only that, when you take in his story into his Intercontinental Championship reign, go look at that guy when he showed up in NXT. He didn't look bad necessarily, but he sure didn't look like he does now. That guy has put in a ton of work to really refine his body that a lot of other people just simply can't do. Not only that, but every match he has is so stinking good. His ability to tell a story, to elevate the people that he works with. We go back to, probably one of the most underrated matches of the year was Gunther versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. What a just phenomenal match. Huge size difference between those two guys, but Gunther made Chad Gable look like a freaking superstar, and Chad Gable has been riding that wave of what Gunther did for him ever since, even though he lost the match. And so the guy is just gold stars in everything he does. I'm sure we're probably getting to the place where he may drop the strap to somebody sometime soon, maybe Mania, who knows. But that guy deserves a gold-plated Chattie for what he's done in 2023.
I think something that you brought up right at the very beginning, the longest reigning Intercontinental champion, I think the difference between him being the longest reigning Intercontinental champion and Roman Reigns, quote unquote, trying to break the longest reigning world champion is that there is, I think if you tie something else to it, it gives it meaning, such as he's believable. He defends it. He's on TV. He's interacting. He's doing things that a champion would do. If they want to just get Roman Reigns to break a record of number of days holding the Universal title, that's fine. You're never going to make it mean anything to the fans if you don't give it a reason to have a meaning. And right now, there's not a meaning for it in my book. There is with Gunther's. He's everything you just said for the reason you're giving him this award. And that's where I think the big differentiating factor between he and Roman Reigns is that there's meaning behind his reign as Intercontinental title. I don't really think that there's a lot behind Roman Reigns.
Well, and to your point, they counted up, the person he's behind right now is Hogan and then San Martino. Yeah. But someone calculated, all of Hogan's title defenses, and it was either a couple thousand or over 1,000 or something, insane, some crazy number. And Roman is like at 47, something like that. And so
it's crazy.
I definitely get, I definitely understand what's happening. I'm not throwing shade at the situation. The reality is, in Hogan's time, the wrestling industry was just different, and they're counting a lot of territory type situations from Hogan's time. They're probably counting non-televised events and all of that. It's two different ages in wrestling. So you have to take that into consideration, but also, when you're doing something in this age, there's not enough roster to have anywhere close to that many title defenses, in the length of time that we're going. And I feel like that could be the sole argument, tangent, that we might see Roman drop the strap maybe at WrestleMania, is because him passing Hogan, to your point, doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything to me. When you're so far apart on title defenses. And so anyway, Roman, deserves a lot of credit for what he does, but not for this one. This one goes to Gunther.
We've got two more awards in the Chatties today, and we'll get to those here in a second. But if you haven't followed us yet on Instagram, look for us there at WrestleChat Podcast, because we talk about a lot of this stuff during the week, and a lot of the stuff that Michael and I will text about, we throw up on Instagram as well, and we'd love to have some chats with you. So even with all of the picks on all of our awards, we'd love to know what you think, and we'll post those, and let us know what you think about the awards here on our last episode of 2023. Two more here. Best Babyface, I'm giving it to Cody Rhodes. It's been a long time since a true traditional babyface has made you want to cheer him, and Cody has done that. I mean, Cena at best got half the arena.
Yeah.
Cody has at least 3/4, if not more, every single night. And I would say it's a lot more than 3/4 of an arena. It is the only male superstar my 9-year-old daughter absolutely loves. And she recognizes him. She recognizes him over Roman Reigns. She doesn't know who Roman Reigns is. She thinks The Rock is the guy from Jungle Cruise. And she knows Cody Rhodes is in WWE. And she also knows that Bianca Belair is too. That's her favorite female wrestler, but she knows Cody Rhodes. So best babyface going to Cody Rhodes. Who you got?
Another controversial pick here. It's not that anybody's going to disagree. They're just going to think I should have picked other people over this guy. But my best babyface for the year is going to go to none other than Pat McAfee.
Oh, that's a good one. I love that one. I'm a huge Pat McAfee mark.
He's been around a little less, especially the back half of the year with him doing some other projects and stuff. But man, every time that guy shows up, he is just liquid gold pouring through our TV screens. Whether he's wrestling, I believe he did a little something at Mania or something like that, and or if he's on commentary, you're just happy that he's around. And he's just an all-around good guy. If there's people that hate him, it's not for what he's doing in WWE. It's probably for an opinion he has on football. But there's very few people in this world that do not like Pat McAfee. And that's why he's getting my best babyface chatty for 2023.
We're going to end on a hateful note. The ones you love to hate. Best heel. And I'm going with Christian Cage. I love you. Got him too. Oh, you thought you were swerving, moving over to Christian Cage, and this guy, just because he's the most convincing SOB on TV right now, Christian Cage, I cannot stand his character because I love that I can't stand his character. He is the best heel in wrestling right now, and what is he, 52 or something like that?
Yeah, he's up there a little bit.
Yeah, and he's I'm excited to see this feud where it all goes with he and his friend Adam Copeland, and I just kind of wish that there were more eyes on it, if you know what I mean. So, what's your reasons for picking Christian Cage as heel of the year?
Well, I'm not doubling up. I got a runner up. So
you got other ones.
I'm going down my list,
But that's who you wanted to put there, right?
That's who would have been in my first slot. I couldn't have said it any better. The guy has perfected the ability to be slimy, yet intimidating. Like
Yes.
in him being slimy, he's not like a Dominic Mysterio where he's playing that coward heel type thing. Like he will fight you and he'll degrade you while he's doing it, and he doesn't miss a step. And so, for my pick, as I have one to give out as well, go with my second pick, which some people will squint at as well. And it's really only because of a couple tweets or a couple videos on the socials. But I'm going to take Grayson Waller. The guy knows how to insert himself in stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with him. And, if we go back to sometime middle of the year, maybe earlier in the year, there was jokes going around that Taylor Swift was going to end up in the WWE, and he went on Twitter or something like that. And
that was just a month ago.
Oh, was it a month ago?
Yeah. This wasn't that long ago.
It feels like a long time ago.
He pissed off all the Swifties for sure.
Yep. And when he went on all that about Taylor Swift being average and, this, that, whatever. Yep. Oh, man. Fantastic. And not a lot of people have the finesse to cross over into pop culture like that. Like Dwayne Johnson was always good at it. But you don't see as many people in professional wrestling that can very gracefully cross that line. And man, he nailed it. He absolutely nailed it. And he just has that way in his charming kind of Ozzy type character that he can slide in those zingers and they sound so happy in Australian, but they're really, really, nasty and whatever. So I think Grayson Waller deserves a shout out for 2023 Chatties.
Good pick. I like that one too. Grayson Waller is definitely a heel, and he enjoys being a heel. He enjoys people booing him. He enjoys people hating him. And you've got to find somebody who doesn't mind that, or actually relishes in being booed when they come out, in order to get that heel character across. And he's one of those guys that is embracing it, much like maybe not on the same level, at least yet, as MJF did when he was playing a heel role. So, man, great pick there. And we all these picks are going to be up on our Instagram. In fact, they are right now. Go there and let us know what you think about our picks, and follow us while you're there at WrestleChat Podcast. That's our last episode of 2023, and we are rapidly on the road to WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. First, though, we got to get to the Royal Rumble. Coming up on next week's show, we're going to give you our predictions for 2024 and maybe even semi-book WrestleMania 40 and see what happens as we throw down some predictions and prognostications of what could happen.
That was a big word.
I'm trying to throw in some big words. I'm not sure that I will always use them correctly, so just bear with me, okay? I've got one of those apps that tells me the word of the day. No, I don't really. But try to sneak those in here on the show, and I can always tell if they worked or not by the wideness in your eyes, Michael. What did he just say? Prognosta what? But we're going to give you maybe some of our picks of things that might happen.
I don't have to get one of those till I'm 40.
That's true. That's true. It becomes an every year thing when you are over 40. That's why I'm sitting on a pillow. Next week's show should be fun too, and hope you have a wonderful New Year's. Hope you had a great Christmas too, and we appreciate you hanging out with us here on the Wrestle Chat Podcast. We'll see you back here next week. Michael, good to see you, bud.
Thanks for having me.